This is a walk through the scriptures to help you understand the beginning foundations of the nation of Israel. God called Abraham to the land. The Lord had said to Abram, "Go from your country, your people and your father's household to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you I will curse, and all peoples on earth will be blessed through you." Genesis 12, 1-3. God promised the land to Abraham and his descendants. The Lord appeared to Abram and said, "To your offspring I will give this land." So he built an altar there to the Lord, who had appeared to him. Genesis 12, 7. There was a famine, so they went to Egypt. When they returned to the land, God confirmed the promise of the land to Abraham and his descendants. The Lord said to Abram after Lot had parted from him, "Look around from where you are, to the north and south, to the east and west. All the land that you see I will give to you and your offspring forever. I will make your offspring like the dust of the earth, so that if anyone could count the dust, then your offspring could be counted. Go, walk through the length and breadth of the land, for I am giving it to you." Genesis 13:14-17. Abraham had no children. He thought he would have to leave his inheritance to his servant. Then the word of the Lord came to him, "This man will not be your heir, but a son who is your own flesh and blood will be your heir." He took him outside and said, "Look up at the sky and count the stars, if indeed you can count them." Then he said to him, "So shall your offspring be." Abram believed the Lord, and he credited it to him as righteousness. Genesis 15:4-6. I love that last sentence. Abraham's wife, Sarai, was impatient for the promise of God to give them a son. So she told Abraham to sleep with her servant Hagar to produce an heir. Hagar became pregnant and the women became enemies. "Your slave is in your hands," Abram said. "Do with her whatever you think best." Then Sarai mistreated Hagar, so she fled from her. Genesis 16:6. God saw Hagar's distress and offered this blessing to her and her son, Ishmael. The angel of the Lord also said to her, "You are now pregnant and you will give birth to a son. You shall name him Ishmael, for the Lord has heard of your misery. He will be a wild donkey of a man. His hand will be against everyone and everyone's hand against him, and he will live in hostility toward all his brothers." Genesis 16:11-12. The Arabs are descendants of Ishmael, Abraham's first son with his servant. This is why the Muslims acknowledge Abraham as their forefather. God confirmed his covenant to Abraham again. When Abram was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to him and said, "I am God Almighty. Walk before me faithfully and be blameless. Then I will make my covenant between me and you and will greatly increase your numbers." Abram fell face down, and God said to him, "As for me, this is my covenant with you. You will be the father of many nations. No longer will you be called Abram. Your name will be Abraham, for I have made you a father of many nations. I will make you very fruitful. I will make nations of you, and kings will come from you. I will establish my covenant as an everlasting covenant between me and you and your descendants after you for the generations to come, to be your God and the God of your descendants after you. The whole land of Canaan, where you now reside as a foreigner, I will give as an everlasting possession to you and your descendants after you, and I will be their God." Genesis 17:1-8. God intended Sarah to be the mother of nations. God's covenant with Abraham would be through her child. God also said to Abraham, "As for Sarai your wife, you are no longer to call her Sarai. Her name will be Sarah. I will bless her and will surely give you a son by her. I will bless her so that she will be the mother of nations. Kings of peoples will come from her." Genesis 17:15-16. Then God said, "Yes, but your wife Sarah will bear you a son, and you will call him Isaac. I will establish my covenant with him as an everlasting covenant for his descendants after him. And as for Ishmael, I have heard you. I will surely bless him. I will make him fruitful and will greatly increase his numbers. He will be the father of 12 rulers, and I will make him into a great nation. But my covenant I will establish with Isaac, whom Sarah will bear to you by this time next year." Genesis 17:19-21. Sarah finally had a son, Isaac. Sarah became pregnant and bore a son to Abraham in his old age, at the very time God had promised him. Genesis 21:2. Again, Sarah sends Hagar and Ishmael away. The matter distressed Abraham greatly because it concerned his son. But God said to him, "Do not be so distressed about the boy and your slave woman. Listen to whatever Sarah tells you, because it is through Isaac that your offspring will be reckoned. I will make the son of the slave into a nation also, because he is your offspring." Genesis 21:11-13. God tested Abraham. Then God said, "Take your son, your only son, whom you love, Isaac, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on a mountain I will show you. Genesis 22:2. Abraham obeyed God, and went to sacrifice his only son, foreshadow of Jesus. The angel of the Lord spoke. Do not lay a hand on the boy, he said. Do not do anything to him. Now I know that you fear God, because you have not withheld from me your son, your only son. Genesis 22:12. I swear by myself, declares the Lord, that because you have done this and have not withheld your son, your only son, I will surely bless you and make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and as the sand on the seashore. Your descendants will take possession of the cities of their enemies, and through your offspring all nations on earth will be blessed, because you have obeyed me. Genesis 22:16-18. God confirmed the covenant he made with Abraham was passed to his son Isaac. Stay in this land for a while, and I will be with you and will bless you. For to you and your descendants I will give all these lands and will confirm the oath I swore to your father Abraham. I will make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and will give them all these lands, and through your offspring all nations on earth will be blessed, because Abraham obeyed me and did everything I required of him, keeping my commands, my decrees and my instructions. Genesis 26:3-5. Isaac and Rebekah had twin sons, Esau and Jacob. Jacob tricked his dad into giving him the oldest son's blessing. May he give you and your descendants the blessing given to Abraham, so that you may take possession of the land where you now reside as a foreigner, the land God gave to Abraham. Genesis 28:4. In a dream, Jacob saw a stairway to heaven, and God spoke to him, extending Abraham and Isaac's blessing to Jacob. There above it stood the Lord, and he said, I am the Lord, the God of your father Abraham and the God of Isaac. I will give you and your descendants the land on which you are lying. Your descendants will be like the dust of the earth, and you will spread out to the west and to the east, to the north and to the south. All peoples on earth will be blessed through you and your offspring. I am with you and will watch over you wherever you go, and I will bring you back to this land. I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. Genesis 28:13:15. God changes Jacob's name to Israel. Then the man said, Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with God and with humans and have overcome. Genesis 32:28. God said to him, Your name is Jacob, but you will no longer be called Jacob. Your name will be Israel. So he named him Israel. And God said to him, I am God Almighty. Be fruitful and increase in number. A nation and a community of nations will come from you, and kings will be among your descendants. The land I gave to Abraham and Isaac I also give to you, and I will give this land to your descendants after you. Genesis 35:10:12. Israel, Jacob, had 12 sons whose descendants become the 12 tribes of Israel, the nation. The sons of Leah, Reuben the firstborn of Jacob, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar and Zebulun. The sons of Rachel, Joseph and Benjamin. The sons of Rachel's servant Bilhah, Dan and Naphtali. The sons of Leah's servant Zilpah, Gad and Asher. These were the sons of Jacob, who were born to him in Paddan Aram. Genesis 35:23:26. Israel's Jacob's son Joseph becomes a leader in Egypt. There is a famine and all of the tribes of Israel move to Egypt where they are taken care of and prosper. Joseph eventually dies. The tribes of Israel continue to grow in number. They become slaved in Egypt. During that long period, the king of Egypt died. The Israelites groaned in their slavery and cried out, and their cry for help because of their slavery went up to God. God heard their groaning and he remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac and with Jacob. Exodus 2:23-24. God raised up Moses to lead the Israelites out of slavery in Egypt and back to their promised land. The Lord said, I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them from the hand of the Egyptians and to bring them up out of that land into a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey, the home of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites and Jebusites. Exodus 3:7-8. God confirms his promise from Abraham, Isaac and Jacob to the Israelites. They are to be his priest nation. Then Moses went up to God, and the Lord called to him from the mountain and said, This is what you are to say to the descendants of Jacob and what you are to tell the people of Israel. You yourselves have seen what I did to Egypt, and how I carried you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now if you obey me fully and keep my covenant, then out of all nations you will be my treasured possession. Although the whole earth is mine, you will be for me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words you are to speak to the Israelites. Exodus 19, 3-6. The Israelites go through the wilderness and back to the promised land. However, the land was occupied with evil people. God commands the Israelites to overtake them, and possess the land he has promised to them. Deuteronomy 7. However, in the cities of the nations the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance, do not leave alive anything that breathes. Completely destroy them: the Hittites, Amorites, Canaanites, Perizzites, Hivites and Jebusites, as the Lord your God has commanded you. Otherwise, they will teach you to follow all the detestable things they do in worshipping their gods, and you will sin against the Lord your God. Deuteronomy 20:16-18. He conquered, then divided the land according to the tribes. So the Israelites divided the land, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Joshua 14:5. From this point forward, the Israelites lived in the land independently, then under various occupations. Battles over the land and the nation of Israel continue to this day. See how your enemies growl, how your foes rear their heads. With cunning they conspire against your people, they plot against those you cherish. Come, they say, let us destroy them as a nation, so that Israel's name is remembered no more. Psalms 83, 2-4. However, what God established in the beginning with Abraham is an everlasting covenant. I will give as an everlasting possession to you and your descendants after you, and I will be their God. Genesis 17:8. The scriptures tell us to pray for and bless Israel. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you be secure. Psalms 122:6. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you I will curse, and all peoples on earth will be blessed through you. Genesis 12:2-3.